Hammer Guardian has just received a ton of buffs in this latest balance patch. Multiple skills have their casting times reduced, with Banish now having the ability to recharge Mighty Blow, and even hitting up to 3 targets now. With these changes, we've seen an increase of players trying out the hammer on Guardian and seeing some positive results. So today we'll be focusing more on PvP and one build in particular featuring the Dragonhunter, who also saw a slew of buffs. But before we get into any of that, the winner for the expansion giveaway from this video goes out to Lazarus. Thank you to everyone who commented, and even if you didn't win, I will be hosting a second giveaway once we reach 5,000 subs for the End of Dragons expansion. Now let's go ahead and hop right into it. The Hammer Dragonhunter is incredibly fun. It offers a plethora of crowd control between its weapon sets and traps. With the additional buffs to Dragonhunter's sustain, such as increased vitality, and the rework to the trait Hunter's Premonition, Dragonhunter is now equipped with a surplus of Aegis and increased health, which leads to melee Dragonhunter builds becoming much stronger. Before we talk about the build, here are the stats and runes I run for PvP. With this setup, we were able to reach over 20,000 HP on a Guardian, as well as hit 100% crit chance under certain conditions. When looking at the traits, we take the Virtues trait line, which will increase our damage output while we are hooked up onto Copium, believing that we will always have 100% Aegis uptime. We also get access to Glacial Heart, which will add superpowers in the Spirit of Winter's Day to our hammer too. The Radiance trait line will ensure that we hit that 100% crit cap while we are juiced up on Resolution and Fury. The Dragonhunter trait line is where things get a bit spicy, however. Hunter's Premonition will have you throwing down traps off cooldown just to get your fix for that sweet Aegis. I promise you, having that Aegis whenever you lay down a trap is actually insane. Seeing as how we take 2 damaging traps and 1 healing trap, this means that right before we are about to deal a big damage combo, we are going to be laying down traps which will grant us Aegis and then give us that 10% increased strike damage. And not only that, but laying down your traps in a pinch could save you from a few key abilities being able to get that Aegis out in time. Heavy Light will encourage you to Bautista Bomb any enemies that stand in your way in order to gain a fat stack of stability and increase damage. The whole idea of this build is combos. You are a Guardian with the playstyle of Warrior. Your most damaging abilities will come from your traps and your weapon skill 2 abilities. As far as crowd control goes, we have plenty of it. Hammer 5, 4, Virtue 1, and Greatsword 5 are what we call hard CC, which renders the enemy unable to act. Setting up hard CC can be difficult as these abilities are usually very telegraphed. With the windup so long, you'll feel like you're starring in Sony's MLB show. An easier way to approach this is by baiting the enemy using soft CC and other abilities that could prove to be threatening. Fortunately, you are a Dragonhunter and you have plenty of these, with the best part being most, if not all of them, buff you in some way. Laying down traps will grant Aegis and then Fury once it's triggered. Using any Virtue or a healing skill will grant you Resolution. Both of these grant increased damage and allow you to hit crit cap perfectly, setting up for the Bautista Bomb that's about to come. Once you've landed hard CC onto an enemy, follow up with a high damaging ability like Hammer 2 or Greatsword 2. This will ensure that you're juiced up on stability and hitting for max damage. It's also worth noting that Hammer 5 is actually really cracked, with being able to trap enemies inside of the small circle. You're able to hit them with Hammer 2, Greatsword 2, or even your traps where they cannot escape. You can do a ton of damage and just shut down enemies very easily by doing this and applying a lot of pressure onto the enemy team. With the Judge's Intervention being an instant cast teleport, it is very easy to land Hammer 5 or any other hard CC ability. By catching the enemy off guard and pre-casting it right as you're teleporting, you'll be able to finish the cast by the time that you land at the opponent's destination. A simple trick helps make up for a lack of mobility on this build and can garner some easy kills. That being said, there are multiple combos that you can pull off, and here are just a few. With loads of hard CC at your disposal, enemies will have a hard time knocking you down as you tower over them with stability and break them down with powerful combos. If you like this build and want to see more, consider subscribing as it helps me out a ton. What do you think of the newly buffed hammer on Guardian, and are you enjoying it? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.